Amazing. Okay, with the live stream set up, thank you very much everyone for joining. We're going to get started on our event. I appreciate you all making the time on your Friday afternoon or evening or even later. It makes such a massive difference to have some support here today. And this event will be available afterwards. We will share the link in which to watch it. Okay, so welcome to our October event. As I said, this event will be on redefining success. We're trying to continue with our late 2025 theme on mental health, and the session aims to explore terms such as progress, results, success, achievements, and what it means to do well in the climate space, what it means also to maybe go wrong, maybe to fail, and how we want to define success. We had some lovely contributions earlier as we were waiting for people to join. But we're really here for people to share their ideas for either changing the narratives of success, and how we can maybe measure it in sometimes cases where that success isn't a number. We have two absolutely lovely speakers here today who are excited to share their thoughts and also excited to have a dialogue with you because this is the main focus of our events. So at Open Dialogues International Foundation, we run these monthly online webinars. Our aim is to increase knowledge and also to provide a space for dialogue on crucial social, environmental, sometimes even in this case, professional issues. So thank you so much for your ongoing support. Welcome to any new people. I know we had a couple of new people registering on the form, on the Google form, so it's always lovely to meet new faces and to see familiar ones. Okay, after a whistle stop tour, as I said, my name is Naomi. You might see this on my little name on my camera profile. I work for ODIF for the events and for the communications team. And so it's my pleasure to host this event and to moderate this dialogue. How it will run today is we will have our two speakers sharing their quick thoughts and maybe some of their experiences and a bit of their background in relation to our topic success. And then we will have a chance after about 20 minutes or so for our audience to get involved, for our participants here to have a dialogue with us. As I explained to our speakers earlier, also, this isn't a Q&A. We're not trying to have a question and answer where we have experts and non-experts. Our focus here is to get everyone involved, to get everyone's thoughts, and to have a place to share some experiences and some ideas and maybe some plans for the future as well. That's my focus. That's my aim here. So thank you for keeping up some energy and thank you for, as I said, joining on such an evening. Right, first of all, I want to introduce Laila. She coordinates across business, communities, and economies to encourage sustainable development. She works on creating cross-sector initiatives that bring regenerative practices to all cultures. That is a very brief and very surface level introduction to her wonderful work. I will let her introduce herself in a little bit more detail. But thank you so much for joining our event, and off you go. You have 10 minutes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for being here and for the opportunity. As Naomi said, my name is Laila. I'm originally from Brazil. The accent is American, and I've been in Germany for about 8 years now, so time really flies. And I'm really excited to be here. And part of my discussion will center around my work, not only in the climate space, but how do we create the conditions for regeneration and success in a way? And if I could be a bit out of the norm, if you feel comfortable and are in a safe space to do so, I have a quick activity. I promise it will only be a couple seconds. So if you could lower your gaze or close your eyes, whatever is possible to you right now, but just kind of trying to go inward yourself. And I want you to imagine that you're 90 years old. So you are 90 years old. And you are surrounded by people that love you, that care for you, that know about your work, and that have worked and supported you throughout those 90 years of life. Imagine that these people were congratulating you and were thanking you for everything that you have done. What would they be saying to you? So this is hypothetical. You can think about it in your mind. No need to explain. But what would these people be saying to you? it's a bit scary, and you might not be sure that you can ask them to say what you want, but be brave and imagine that they are saying what you would like them to say. Now, thank them so much for coming to visit you. And if you kind of could come back to 2025 now and slowly open your eyes and kind of come back, that's what success means to me. It means that when I'm 90 years old, the people that I care about, the people that have worked with me, will be thankful and glad that I was on this planet, and that as I make my transition into the next world, I am kind of grateful of the time that I have spent here. And thank you for going through that with me. That is actually a very, very short overview of work that I do when it comes to inner development and understanding the responsibilities that we have as humans to this planet. And I think a central one that we need to always think about is the long term. It's really easy in our careers, especially as we kind of go from our 20s to our 30s, from our 30s to our 40s and beyond, that we try to define success in smaller and smaller ways, in smaller time frames. And I always try to think about what is my, probably, who knows, but I hope my time frame is towards the 90 years old, and that whatever I kind of try to do is always think towards that Laila and the people that will be on there. And my career has a bit been a meander, as I would say. It kind of goes and flows. And I think what has been really helpful for me to feel successful is that I always try to not choose a fixed spot in the future. I don't think there is one job that is my job. I don't think there is one thing that I could solve, but I think there are many things that are coming up for me. So my background started in international relations in Brazil. I moved to Germany because I got a job at a logistics company. And when I jumped in, I was supposed to be kind of HR operations. And I had really good managers. And I said, how are you doing everything on Excel in a multi-billion-dollar company? Can we try something different? And they said, sure, go ahead, try whatever you like. And through that, I kind of became an expert in data and how to create dashboards and things that didn't really exist in that depth in 2017. And that way of working around kind of just trying something new has really defined my career. So much so that I really jumped into the decarbonization space because of my data background. And so I always like to tell people that when you're trying to get into a specific space or moving into something that you're maybe a little bit new for you, what is the key thing that you are really good at that maybe somebody else isn't, that you are bringing into that role or into that project or into what you're trying to achieve in a collaborative partnership. And I also realized that I've spent 5 years in a corporate space. I gained a lot of experience. And I knew that there were NGOs, that there were social enterprises, and there were a lot of other organizations that could also make use of my energy and my expertise. And I decided to kind of jump from that corporate space for some time and to try something new. And that was really scary because I had to let go of financial security. I had to let go of healthcare security and many other things that are difficult once you've started settling in a role. But I make this joke that the place I used to work with is 40 different floors. And I used to say that I used to look down at my city, and that I only went from home to work, and I used to look down. And only when I kind of took some time to look around my own city at what was needed, did I really kind of become part of place. And that is kind of central to what today I really define as success when we talk about climate, is that we are all, I think the last 20, 30 years has been this, oh, let's save the world and climate all over the world. And I'm sure a lot of us do work in a global space. I sure do. But I think what is really important is to think about the place in which we live, to think about the people that will be supporting you when things go not right. And that's what I'm trying to do here in Bonn. So we are now trying to bring together the city. We're trying to bring together universities, the large corporates, and people that are already working in regeneration that are in the UN, that are outside of the UN, that are working in organizations such as ICLE and many others, but that live in my city. But they don't normally work around things for the city. And I want to try to showcase to them that our city could use their expertise, our region could use their expertise, and we want them to keep their day job, to think about the global space that very, very much needs them, and at the same time showcase the importance of thinking place-based, of always coming back to place, especially when we're thinking about regeneration and bioregioning, which is a key term for me. So I think success today is definitely one, finding a way to make all of this financially manageable as well. We tend to self-sacrifice a lot in the climate space. We want to help the world and we forget to help ourselves. That we are taking care of our health and not only our mental health, which is important, but sometimes I think, ironically, we also forget our physical health. So are we eating well? Are we taking our time to be outside? Are we walking as much as we should? So all of that to me means that if I can be successful and look at myself in the mirror and take care of myself personally and be able to do some good, I think that is kind of the key to general success for me. And last but not least, I do think that sometimes when we're talking about success, there's this feeling, especially in the startup world, that, oh, I have to think about something totally new. And I have to be this brilliant idea is going to fall from the sky. And that's why I will be successful because that. And where I've noticed that I've been more successful is that where I have not reinvented the wheel, where I have copied with pride, where I have found people that are doing really good things, and I have offered myself up to be an additional part of that work. And so I think if we can move away from this individualistic way of wanting to be the superhero and really thinking about ourselves as the mycelium of people coming together, I really do think that that, to me, is the key thing towards success. I think I'm approaching my 10 minutes and I want to be mindful of the time. And I think that the last sentence I would say here is that has really helped me is don't take advice from people that you wouldn't want their lives. So somebody today said, don't take constructive criticism from somebody that you didn't like what they've constructed. And that is really big. So let's all keep in mind that our successes should be defined by ourselves and should also be grown upon by people that are inspiring us and taking steps, and that we don't listen too much to the people that we don't want their advice to anyways, and we wouldn't want their lives. So thank you. Excited to be here.
Thank you so much for your presentation and excellent timekeeping, I have to say. I really loved your comment that we aren't, you're right with the individualistic comment. We aren't just ourselves. We are within a community, we're within a group of people. The exercise you had at the beginning, the most important part of that was thinking about who else is around you, who you have influenced and who have influenced you in a really positive way. It's holistic in that sense. And so thank you so much for sharing your comments. That was both reassuring for myself and also super inspiring. I loved it. Thank you. Okay, although we have to move on, sadly, we have the next amazing speaker on our list. So thank you again for being here, Simge. It's wonderful to have you at our event. So here she specializes in building a future where businesses can generate cash flow by nourishing nature instead of exploiting it. So the lovely similarity between our two speakers, and I know they know each other well. We were just talking about this before everyone came in. But this is a wonderful complementarity in our event. So, as a Global Shaper alumni and a board member of Women in Climate, Simja champions youth and women in shaping innovation and future-oriented solutions, which is a fantastic background to come here to our event with. From turning malls into sustainability hubs to advocating at COP 27, 28, 29, and potentially 30. Um, Simge brings sectors and redefines success by prioritizing people and the planet alongside profit. So, off over to you. The floor is yours. You have 10 minutes. Thank you very much for sharing your comments.
Thank you. And thank you again, Laila, for making us time travel into the future and coming back to the present. That was really, really inspirational and a good start to how we define success. Yeah, very nice meeting everyone in this room. It's really great to see and hear and read where you're coming from, what you're working on. My presentation today will be a little bit more focused on the ground, on things that can be done potentially in business or implemented as solutions. And I prepared a small presentation for you to go through this together. Here we go. And I would actually also like to start with a small opener about a picture that I have seen this summer in Tbilisi. And for me, this was a kind of really inspirational moment because I looked at the street art and I was seeing this person who's heartbroken, and there was another creature, a cat in this case, looking up at this person. And it really touched me how they completed this picture, which is basically by taking the broken heart and gifting wings to the cat so that the cat can go and fly. And for me, this picture was like a really deep and profound drawing of how we can redefine success. So sometimes things do not go as we plan to, things break our heart or things break apart. But then there can be opportunities out of these situations, and we can create something that was unthinkable of before. I mean, a flying cat, this is maybe something we have seen in a science fiction movie, but we can kind of create this environment that we are capable of imagining. So I want to invite you today to imagine a future where you're capable of things that you are currently not able to imagine that you are. And this is basically also how my journey into climate and sustainability started back in 2018, because I was working in real estate and working on financial models, modeling different cash flow systems, running valuations on shopping malls and office buildings, but also evaluating different development projects that could be done for residential or commercial projects. But then there was this one moment in 2018 when I went on a trip with the Global Shapers community, which is the brainchild of the World Economic Forum and brings together young people from 18 to 30 years old to take a seat at the table for the future. And we visited this museum, which is called Fashion for Good. It's based in Amsterdam, and in this museum, it's possible to kind of go in and imagine what the textile and the fabric sector looked like if it was a force for good. So they had 5 different pillars, kind of explaining how good materials, good electricity, good water, so like using our resources without polluting the water, good people and good policy kind of play in to make fashion a force for good. And for me, this was really a twisting moment. I was just like looking at like this crystal clear mission and message they had. And I kept asking myself why I've never thought about this before, because it's not rocket science. It's so simple. It's so basic. It's so tangible. Of course, I don't want anything that I'm wearing to pollute a river anywhere in this place, or use materials that have been produced using tons of pesticides, killing insects and local animals, and destroying biodiversity. But somehow I needed this experience, this moment, this crack to really see that I need to change something about the way I'm working. So exactly here on this picture, you can see a little bit more on these different pillars they do and focus on. And was really, really this eye-opening moment for me where I went ahead and said, okay, how can I translate this knowledge? How can I make wings out of this knowledge for something that I'm working on currently? And it turned out to be a great opportunity. I started to deep dive into this world of responsible consumption, where it was a stronger emphasis on like intelligence and consuming responsibly, kind of seeing how we can use what we have, borrow, and then eventually potentially buy. And this made me discover many, many different concepts and new brands and new ways of doing business. So, for example, there is Stella McCartney, and she has a shop that's focusing on sustainable fashion. But at the same time, in this shop, you can also have the freshest air and the purest air of London. And none of these concepts are in a way perfect, but they're trying to move into something and trying to become better, right? And this was really also the moment when we sat together with the management board of the company I was working back then, and we redefined the sustainability strategy. In the beginning, it was incredibly difficult. There were many opponents. One of these people is actually by now a top leader of the sustainability department in this company. So something I wouldn't have been able to imagine some 8 years ago. But there is a plot twist for everyone if we go into this road. And then it also made me see retail and in investing into assets in a completely different way. So how can we use solutions where to tackle food waste, or how can these retail spaces be used to promote circular fashion, or how, for example, food waste can be recreated into energy. There was like this really interesting startup that's also focusing on using coffee grains and oil that's being used in the restaurants in the shopping mall to create soap and also compost for urban gardening. So yeah, so sometimes, as I said, we need this moment, this crack, to be able to see all these things that are out there and which we would walk by otherwise. And then, of course, there's like lots of different ways of looking into this from a business perspective. How can we tackle land use in real estate, energy, or a tech and investment or building materials? But for me, and this is a very boring picture if you look at it like this. For me, there was still always this question, well, if I'm able to put value on any retail unit in a shopping mall and say, okay, this unit has 100 square meters and it's worth so and so much, or I can get this rent, I was asking myself, why can we not use a similar concept, for example, in nature? So that's also another plot twist moment when I was moving forward into the environmental space and started working with different NGOs and created a technology that's called Measure to Earn, where the core idea is to focus on land and measure basically what is growing on this land and generate cash flow from these data points and measurements instead of making this land going into, for example, real estate development. So we need to tackle the problem kind of ahead of the curve, where we can get opportunities and create solutions for local people and local communities to generate economic sustainability and livelihood from what they have and from what's protecting the nature, instead of cutting down the trees and building something where we maybe think it's generating value, and potentially it might in one or the other case. But I think there is a huge potential to still go down this road and explore new ideas and give wings to projects where, yeah, we didn't think it's possible to create anything out of this. Exactly. So, yeah, two heads are better than one. I'm excited to the dialogue session of today and continue meeting everyone in the room.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. It's wonderful. Something that I really love about these events is that our two speakers are often so different, but so well complemented together, as I said. It's been amazing to hear the tract across your career journey and across all the different forms of innovation that you found. something that I've really taken away from both your presentation, but also Laila's presentation, was that sometimes just a little bit of creativity or a little bit of openness to a new idea or a new concept or an old idea and a new concept, as you say, Laila, not everything has to be brand new, not everything has to be reinventing the wheel. But your presentation there, Simge, showed me that sometimes there is a possibility when there doesn't always seem to be one. And sometimes there's a new road that opens that maybe is behind you and you didn't see it before, but now you do see it. Or there's a new practice, as you said, such as I think when you were talking about redefining your sustainability strategies, there's a new concept that might be there or might change, and it's all applicable and it all comes into one together at the end. So thank you so much for sharing your presentation. It was a wonderful insight into the work you do, and your online profile doesn't do it justice. So thank you. Right, as I said, we're going to move on to now the dialogue section of this event. This should take until the hour. So for me, until 1500 on, sorry, yeah, 1500 on the clock. But maybe if anyone in the room here has any comments or thoughts or experiences from what both of our speakers have said, either one or the other, or maybe you want to share about how you have had success in your career or not success even, or places where you've struggled, or maybe places where you've discovered a new opportunity that wasn't there beforehand. Um, yes, go ahead. I see someone with their hand up straight away. This is fantastic. Yes, please unmute yourself and share your thoughts.
Okay, yeah. Good evening. This is Osayomore Lucky Amogeba from Nigeria. So the founder of Africa Alliance for Children and Youth Development and Advocacy. So I want to first of all thank the organizer of this dialogue and also all the wonderful speakers so far. Yeah, one thing that inspired me into the environmental space is the fact that uh, naturally, I'm someone that love to go into innovative ideas. So first, I was working in development, youth development, and children development. Then, and I was now looking at the area that was mostly concurrent, which is the environment. Then I began to see that the environmental space is interconnected. It's something that you cannot do without. Why do I mean that? Because when you look at it, all fields, all discipline, and all sector of the world, they're all connected to the environment. There's nothing that can survive without the environment. So I began to see the need for us to go more into environmental consciousness. Yes, because when we talk about peace, when we talk about development, when we talk about growth, when we talk about innovation, you cannot do anything literally without the environment. As I was telling someone that even religion is also connected to the environment. So anything we do basically, as so long it relates to life, the environment is in that aspect. So uh, I was uh, looking at the possibility to start letting people know about the importance of environmental consciousness. They will start advocacy and they started telling people about the fact that what you do to the environment is like what you do to your own personal home, because the environment is our home. We don't have any other place to go. We don't have the billions to go to Mars to start to exist. If eventually they make Mars habitable, a lot of, should I say 99% of the world population does not have that amount of money to move to Mars. So it's just like you taking care of your home. And what you do to your home, there's no one that will be in his home that will want to litter dirt everywhere, or you just take something and just pour it on the floor, just make your home dirty and all that. So that was how we started the advocacy, letting both children start. We started with children going to schools, letting them know that they are champion of the environment, they are ambassador of the environment. Then also moving to marketplaces and business centers to let people know that whatsoever you do, for you to actually progress in that particular field, either education, either business or anything, you have to take care of your environment. You have to bless that environment where you are staying. You have to bless that particular uh, environment where you exist, for you to also receive blessings from whatsoever you are doing, that's school, academics, or business. So, so far so good. I think it has been great working in the environmental space, and I always let people know that you can't say I'm a medical personnel. I do not have anything to do with the environment. Or you say I'm an engineer, I don't have anything to do with environment. All fields, all discipline, in fact, everything on earth, so long as what people do, it's related to the environment. So uh, I want us to really let people know this environmental consciousness is very key to anything we do, and I see that we'll make good progress at the end of the day.
Thank you so much for your comments. I love what you said about treating our surroundings, treating our community, treating our environment like it's our home. You're right. That is an amazing inspiration to get into the climate space. And I think something that we all share on this call is the understanding that everything is all interconnected, everything is cross-sector initiatives, everything needs to be with a consciousness that there is an awareness that there is a link there. Perhaps I can come to someone else who has their hand up from the Côte d'Ivoire, and then I could get maybe our speakers' thoughts after that, maybe from the two contributions. Off you go. I see someone. Yes. I think it's your organization on your name. So from the NGO 360 Côte d'Ivoire.
Yes,
Go ahead.
good morning. I hope you could hear me. So
Absolutely.
my name is Sheikh Traore, and I'm the CEO and founder of 350 Côte d'Ivoire, which is a local branch of 350.org. And, I would like to say thank you for being in this call and also for being ambassador. And for the last 3 years, I've got a special adventure, and I would like to thank Open Dialogue International Foundation for that, as they bring, they enhance our fight as we aiming to fight against climate change and fossil fuel, mainly plastic pollution. My organization has been working on these fields for the last decade, but really for the last 3 years, we have made some significant impact, as we have been able to work with scientists center and also multi-stakeholders. But what is very interesting is we have tried to engage with youth, especially on dialogue, and it was a great experience. So for the last year, we've embraced a project aiming also to fight plastic pollution, and we have been, monitoring youth, and it was a great experience. The youth were not aware about this plastic pollution issue, and even we've helped them connect science with climate action, and this was very great. And I would like also to thank you, ODIF, Open Dialogue International Foundation, because I've been experiencing this certificate issue, and they kind of like it, because people, when they feel honored, they give more. So I would like to give a big thank you for all the team and all the members present in this call. And I'm really excited to continue this adventure. So what we're planning for this coming year, because the school are resuming here, we will continue the project. And as I said, for the last 3 years, we have been with some youth, but actually we're trying to enter into a 2 years program, which at the end of each 2 years, we're gonna deliver some certificate to the participant. And for that, very soon, I will let you know, guys, how it happens. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing your success, and it has been an honor to work with you as well within the ODCC project. So for people on this call who aren't aware, this is our open dialogues on climate change, and it's how we connect with a lot of our teams. And it has been wonderful to work with other organizations and other individuals who have been doing fantastic projects like Cheikh Chadore. So thank you so much for being part of this event today. Maybe I could come to one of our two speakers. Maybe either of you have anything you want to say in response to our two contributions, and then I can come to effing and innocent afterwards.
I would go ahead if
Go for it.
yeah, I've been reading, I mean, I'm a Global Shaper alumni, so I briefly mentioned this and happy to also share more information on the Global Shapers community if anyone is interested in this call. But basically, with the Global Shapers community, we also focus a lot on youth engagement. And I think it's amazing what you're doing because, like, this thing, like, of course, this consciousness of the environment and everything else, but also like working with youth and young people really helps them to have this mindset for the next generation. So it's not something that needs to be changed anymore, but it's something that's normal going forward. So yeah, congratulations on your work and my best wishes for you in the continuation of this, and keep up the amazing work that you're doing. And I think for me, this is really also another factor of success is, did you also reach young people with this, and were you able to like open a path for them to see a different future and different perspectives on certain things that were not possible before? So I think you're very successful with regards to that.
This was one of the things that came to my brain when Laila asked us to do the activity earlier. Is for me success. I'm monopolizing my privilege as being of being a moderator, but by sharing my thoughts. But for me, success meant leaving something in this world that is there once I go. And that for me meant success, but also it meant having young people around me in that room when I was 90. And it meant having other people of lots of different ages, but people who may not know something that maybe I could share with them, or maybe they could share something new with me. And that was something that felt really warm inside, and that felt like a big factor in success for me in however many years' time, hopefully many years' time. So I agree completely. Reaching young people and making that success longer than yourself or longer than your generation is a big part of that long-term factor. Can I come to Effingham Vincent next? Thank you so much for waiting. If you want to unmute yourself and share your thoughts.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. I bring greetings to every one of you from Nigeria. My name is Innocent Effiong. I'm the current executive community engagement manager at Center for Peace, Advocacy and Sustainable Development. Permit me to appreciate Open Dialogue International Foundation for this wonderful platform. I think I've joined this platform over and over and over and over, and I must confess, I must say that it's a very good space, you know, as the name means, dialogue. So there's a lot that I've learned from this community, and I know few months ago I've missed a lot of dialogues, you know, but today I decided to join because I love subject that talks about redefining success. Redefining success. So I'm so happy to be part of today's conversation. So for me, I want to once again also appreciate all the speakers who have made a lot of sense, you know, in their presentations. You know, I've learned a lot from them as well. So for me, I really want to share a little experience of how I got into this space. You know, after my school days, you know, I was in search of white collar job, but there was none, you know, in my country. As Nigeria is, there's a lot of challenge when it comes to job opportunities. I know there are opportunities, but there are a lot of bureaucracy, you know, in accessing job in Nigeria as a young graduate. So at that point, I came in contact with the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, and I got to find out that there is a lot of problem that lies within that 17 SDG, So I decided to look inward, to start asking myself a question: what can you contribute? What can you bring? What value can you create in my community, in my state, in my country, Nigeria, irrespective of the unavailability opportunities that are not that are limited? What can I do? So I found myself, start volunteering. Volunteering service is what have brought me to this point I am today, because I saw voluntary opportunity as a place to build my capacity, as a place to develop myself, as a place to get connected to like-minded people, as a place, to learn a whole lot hand-on skill. So that was why I got into the development space. And I remember my first volunteering community was Nigerian Red Cross. I saw the need to join the Nigerian Red Cross as a volunteer, in saving life, in educating people about health and safety. It was through that period also that I got to volunteer for an organization called Center for Peace Advocacy, which right now I'm executive community engagement manager. So I work with this organization, Center for Peace Advocacy, for more than 6 years now. So we have been doing a lot about advocacy, peace building, youth leadership development. We have been also, defending female genders, female genders. We also learn about human rights to protect people from fight against, advocating for women's rights. So we have done a lot in my organization. I've done a couple of jobs, a couple of advocacy, both in governance, both in peace building, both in security. I've done a lot of work in this space, and I'm very happy that I took that decision to come into this space as a volunteer. And I'm not saying that I've gotten there yet, but I'm still building capacity. I'm still developing myself professionally, because the space is a place you have to keep showing up, keep building capacity, keep learning, keep connecting to people. I never knew that I will have opportunity to connect to the world in this form. Like now, I'm in Nigeria, but I'm connecting to people in different countries. So it's part of the opportunity that volunteerism gave me, and what I learned in the development space. So for me, I enjoy the area of climate, because I'm a practitioner that wore many caps. I wore many caps. I don't just learn one area. I make sure that in sustainable development goal, I have a knowledge of all the 17 SDG, and also I'm a player. I'm an active player in trying to make those sustainable development goal come life and add value to the society I belong to. Like my friend from my country talks about environment. Environment is very, very important for every human being. In Africa, in part of Africa, there's a lot of abuse to environment, and that's what we stand for, to fight to make sure that we create a healthy and safer environment. And for me, I do a lot within waste management, because I see a lot of people putting up waste on the roadside. People don't clean up their environment. So I take that responsibility to mobilize young people, to advocate, to teach people how to sort their waste, to teach people how to manage their waste, so that we'll have less unhealthy environment. So I have been doing this a couple of years. We have done a lot of campaigning in the market, sensitizing people, organizing community for community environmental cleanup, just to keep our environment, because I believe that health is wealth. When environment is not healthy, people hardly survive. People hardly succeed. Like my brother said from Nigeria, everything that we have to do in the life cycle, in the ecosystem, has to do with the environment. So we have to be very conscious of our environment, to make sure that we protect our environment from unhealthy, condition. I've done also a couple of things about peace building because I believe peace is also important. If
I
we don't have
agree.
peace,
Innocent, do you mind if I
yeah,
interrupt you briefly? Thank you so much for your contribution, and I hate to cut you off, but I'm also
okay,
aware that we might want to hear some other people's thoughts on this event. If there's anything else that you wanted to
all
say that you
right,
didn't get a chance to, I really, really
all right,
encourage you to
all right,
email
thank you,
us,
all right,
and
thank you
I
very
can
much.
share your thoughts around among the rest of the community here that has been on this event and make sure that your points and your dialogue contributions are still there. But I'm aware that we only have 1 hour and we only have 7 minutes left.
All right,
And
thank you,
also, I
all
know
right,
that Laila has to leave. So
all
thank you
right,
so
all right,
much for your
thank you,
contributions. Thank you for your
thank
thoughts.
you, thank you, thank you.
Um, one of the things that really came out of this event for me so far has been that success isn't necessarily a linear path. I know that sounds something that we say a lot out loud, but it's sometimes quite hard to believe that. And I know for myself that's it's quite hard to accept when you're maybe in a position when you want to move or you want to change or explore a new area, but sometimes it feels difficult to get to that point. And what has been wonderful about the event today and everyone's contributions has been seeing the possibilities that exist out there that you don't otherwise notice, as I said. So maybe I could ask both of our speakers to kind of share their concluding thoughts and maybe some comments from what we've heard since they last spoke. I can give you a second to think, of course. I know I'm coming to you suddenly. But maybe I can get your final messages or maybe something to do with any advice you have from something you've learned in your careers and or continuing to learn, or an area of opportunity that you are excited to discover in the near future. I don't mind who goes first. I don't want to pick on either of you straight away.
I'm happy to go. Simge went last time. I mean, what I'm excited about is the potential of networks. So us stopping to think about only our own organization, but really how can we come together and think about impact, like the intelligence that can come from multiple organizations working together. I've done a lot of work on this idea of innovation ecosystems. So it really suggests that all of you working in your kind of individual work, think about how you can group together with other organizations and kind of build up networks on that, because that becomes a lot easier to have a bigger impact than when you're doing it alone, of course. And it sounds so simple, but I've seen a lot of really small organizations become really powerful within networks. So would really suggest that. And the other thing that is just something I heard and something that I myself am trying to remove from my climate wording is I think we're not going to change the system if we continue using the same terms around fight and we need to fight them and we need to fight this. Because as somebody said before, they said, oh, I'm for peace and not war. And I agree with that. And I love whoever said that. And I agree. And at the same time, I think we need to then take that into our climate space as well. We can't be fighting. We need to be about finding solutions, about cooperating, about finding political alliance, creating strategic partnerships. And I think if we're able to also change our words and our moods from I'm going to fight the system, so I'm going to find a way to nourish the system, to cultivate a new system, to work towards something new, I think it helps us move into this better world we all know is possible. So just a suggestion from my side. And I know it's not always easy, especially when we are being oppressed, especially as other people are maybe coming into our place and creating terrible, terrible things. But I think as much as we can, we should be trying to be the better ones and in creating that better world.
Thank you so much for saying that. And I think that's something that we can really take with us in the run up to COP30. I know you were saying before on email that it's a firefight, and that sometimes the ways of supporting the people around us come from that very meaning of support rather than meaning antagonism, and that alignments and partnerships and networks is where we make progress and where we make success. So I really hope that everyone here on this event today, this evening, has found a space where maybe they can find others that relate to them in their thoughts and their ideas. Simga, can I come to you for your final thoughts as well, please?
Yeah, thank you. And I can actually just echo what Laila was saying on giving people this opportunity. So it kind of reminds me, so if I wouldn't have gone to Fashion for Good, right, and have this plot twist in my own career, I would be right now. I mean, I still enjoy this, like building financial models and things like this, but I would just do this like thinking one-headed. But I had this moment. So my wish is for each of one who's in this room right now to give many, many other people such a moment so they can go on and be a change and create something new and work on something different. So it's really just a twist in thinking and some to see the bigger picture, and it's a puzzle piece that's missing, and how great if we can give someone a puzzle piece to see a larger and greater picture. And with this, so this is one, and the other thought that I was actually also having on this is you don't need to do everything yourself. So I think there is also a great piece in giving or being there for others, or I mean, delegating is not the right word in this context, but just creating opportunities for others to flourish and grow and take on new paths. So really building governance structures and creating places where you grow the next leadership and you support others to become stronger in their leadership journey. So I think that's another thought that I would like to share with this room on redefining success.
Thank you so much. I love Layla's reactions here. I wish I'm there making sure that I remember everything that everyone says because we produce a summary report afterwards. So I wish I had the dexterity to be able to do both at the same time. It's been wonderful to see. Okay, I've noticed we've got to 59. Thank you so much, both of the speakers, for our comments. It's been wonderful to have this network, have this community here today. We run these events every month, and we have a very special event coming up in November that we will be sharing shortly. But relating to very similar themes from today on inner sustainability and inner transformation to help then with outward sustainability and outward transformation. So please keep an eye on our socials and on our email. And if you're on our mailing list, that's fantastic. If you have any questions or concerns or things you haven't shared today, it's important still to keep you communicating and keep you in this space. So please reach out to us by email on contact@open-dialogues.org. This is also available on our website, Open Dialogues International Foundation. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time, as I said this evening, to be here. It's amazing to have such a wonderful set of people who are willing to share their experiences. I will be sending around an email with some follow-ups, potentially with Simge's slides as well, and then a summary from this event in French, Spanish, and English as well, and a feedback form if anyone would be interested in sharing their thoughts on how this event went. Have a lovely rest of your evening or your day or wherever it is for you, and hopefully see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you too. Welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening. See you. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.